Welcome to the Doug and Commish Show as we have wrapped up the regular season and we are on the way to the playoffs. And what an exciting time for many of the GFO teams, half of them. Another time for the other half to reevaluate. And as we look forward to this playoff matchup, let's review some of the stuff that happened last week. And towards the end of this, we have an interview, an actual special interview with one of the GMs from the playoff teams. So anyway, Commish, we look at this. The first game we're going to look at, Sass does win, but he does not make the playoffs.
I'm a little heartbroken, but yet joyed in the inside because you know how I feel about the game. Yep. I'm glad he missed the playoffs. I don't like him. He beat me twice. Yep. There's animosity there, but talking to him on Monday night where he's celebrating a playoff victory and then to wake up Tuesday morning and see Gaint, the number 7 seed, out of the playoffs, I felt bad for probably 3, maybe even 3.5 seconds for Gaint.
Yep. We also, Toilet Town wins, but should have won earlier in the year, as he is knocked out of the playoffs as well. Bertucky won over Trash, but Trash still maintains the number 2 seed, and Trash more or less backs into the playoffs here.
Lost 3 in a row, putting up points in the mid-80s. Even Roddy White and Matt Ryan aren't playing well. Chris Johnson scoring under 10 points. If he doesn't get it together quick, the only win he'll get is the bye.
Bertucky seems to be on a roll as he gets into the playoffs.
I mean, it's a bit of a roll. He's not all he's cracked up to be right now because he's still got some missing parts. Like Deshaun Jackson's not playing great. Kelvin Johnson had a total of 3 catches. So it's not like all those pieces are playing well. He's playing well enough to beat people like Trash, though.
All right. We also have Beans end up taking the division and kind of sneaking back into contention there.
Yeah, and here's the thing about Beans. Beans, obviously, we know all about his smugness. He was very vocal about the fact that he knew, he guaranteed that if him and the show matched up for a division title, he knew he was in. I mean, he knew he was in. That's confidence that's going to go well for the playoff run. I think the Beans are dangerous.
Soldier, let's go to Soldier. And Soldier knocks out Doughboy. Doughboy had a small chance, but Soldier pretty much dashed his hopes.
Yeah, I mean, he basically just ruined everything that Doughboy had going on. But even if Doughboy won, he's probably going to be out anyway. Soldier, the 1 seed. One of the playoff favorites.
And Trash, the number 2 seed. Beans, the 3. The 4 seed and ends up going to
some white trash.
5 seed goes to Greatest Show. And the 6th seed coming in the end is Nips. Nips did end up winning. He's ready for the playoffs. So Nappy lost last week. Pretty much wrapped up his Matt Millen trophy. But as you said earlier last week, you thought that the only team that didn't make it in was New Guy, and Nips did not make it in. Other than that, you had your playoff predictions pretty close.
Yeah, I really thought the New Guy was going to come through, and he didn't. So, it is what it is. But I did not see Nips making it in under any circumstance. I didn't even really see him winning.
Yeah.
His roster is full of average to below average misfits, but somehow he has playoff moxie that we continue to see and continue to talk about. Chris from the Nips, I'm surprised he doesn't get more GM of the Year votes on the homepage.
Well, that said, let's bring in Chris Pitt and Turf right now. Chris, can you hear us?
We can hear you.
All right. Well, Chris, welcome to the Doug and Commish Show. I'm sure all of our viewers are excited about having you on. All right. Well, I'll let Commish start off with the questions.
Chris, it was a bit of a surprise to everyone else in the world and in the GFO that you woke up on Tuesday morning and found yourself in the playoffs. Kind of walk us through how you felt from Monday evening to Tuesday morning at 4:30 when you set the alarm to find out if you were in the playoffs.
Well, Commish, as you know, I fully expected to be in the playoffs on Tuesday morning. From our conversations on Monday, had outlined my case, kind of had it figured out that I was going to be in. I didn't have a whole lot of faith in our athletes, so I wasn't putting a lot of stock into their analysis. But like I said, as you know, we at the Hippos organization, we expect to be in the playoffs every year, and we expected to be in it this year from our performance during the season.
So you again, I'm going to go back to something you just said. You questioned the mathletes' ability to do math. Am I correct in that?
Their track record, has been less than stellar the last 2 years anyway. It's drawn from my experience.
Yeah.
They're very qualified, with their calculators. But for whatever reason, playoff time, they tense up for whatever reason with that calculator. They can't quite get the calculations correct.
Yeah.
Well, some mathletes are better than others, and some can come through in the crunch, and then obviously some can't.
All right.
My next question for you, Chris, is we've been getting tons of tweets and Facebooks about your playoff moxie that you own in the GFO. Your first year, you came in and got an F- for your draft grade, and then you win the championship, right? We're wondering where you get that playoff moxie from and how you bring that to the playoffs.
Well, we look for certain qualities in our players. It's not necessarily the guys that get all the accolades or the players with the highest credentials with the football. We're looking for guys that know how to perform in the clutch, know how to play under pressure, and we have got guys like that. We got a team full of guys like that. There's not necessarily the big names on our team, but they're guys that are playoff tested and they're proven to come through and when it matters most, and that's what we look for in our guys. Not necessarily regular season performers, but guys that come through come playoff time.
Yeah, and I mean, right, Doug? I mean, you would have to agree that's what he's done. I mean, he's got a 1-year track record, and it's a championship.
It is. Going 3-0 in the playoffs is obviously something to tout around. And now, rumor has it you've canceled all your parades until the playoffs are over. Is this correct?
Sorry, Doug, can you repeat that in English? I don't speak Chinese.
Oh. All right.
I speak a little Chinese. He said that you have canceled, right? Canceled? Is that what it came from?
Canceled.
You've canceled all parades up until the playoffs are over.
No comment.
So that's a negative. The Nipples are still having parades. One more question that we're getting some hot tweets on is, what is going to be in your uniforms? It looks like you've added some words to your team name, something about being the past champion.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? We didn't necessarily add any words or letters. We just added a gold trophy to our uniforms for the playoff run. It's kind of motivate our guys, to what they're playing for. Just keep them that extra motivation to say, hey, let's go get it. Let's bring it home again.
All right. Well, this week's matchup is going to be a tough matchup against the Bean. In looking at the projections, which we all have agreed on many times have been way wrong, but they have you quite the underdog. How do you feel about your practices this week leading up to the big game?
Hey, our guys they're ready. They're working hard. They're ready. They're prepared all season for this time of year. This is what all the preparation that we've put in to the season has been specifically for the playoffs and for coming through this time. So the guys are ready. They realize that they're maybe the David to the Beans Goliath, but they relish that role. They like being called the underdog. You're not getting any credit, so they're ready to rock.
Well, Christopher, you're 0-2 against the mighty Bean, and even though Beans hasn't really spoken very good English in order to get that point across, you are 0-2 against him. What are you doing differently this week to not become 0-3 against the Bean?
We got a few tricks up our sleeve. I'm not going to share all of our secrets with the Bean. He's a solid GM and manager, but we're just happy that he seems to regain a little bit of that smugginess that he's known for this time of year. So usually when he starts getting smuggy, that's when he stumbles and falls and gets a little bit of that humble pie. So we're just kind of counting on that a little bit, and then like I said, a few other tricks we got up our sleeve.
All right. Well, as we look forward to this week matchup, we do want to thank you for your time. We know you're a busy man. We do love the fact that you touted in Sass's face that you were going to ride him like a pony, and you have done that. So congratulations on that. Chris, congratulations on making the playoff for a second year in a row.
Thanks, Doug.